Alrighty, guys. It is 3:30. It is first trading day of April and the second quarter. Oh, that yesterday we wrapped up the trading month of March and the first quarter. Had a nice little rally, so quarterly performance was really good. So far today we are holding on to the gains, but barely, but we are holding on. I thought we were going to be if they were an absolute window dressing day yesterday, we would have seen more weakness, but we got some stuff in the pipeline. That retail sale numbers came out this morning was a good number. And they're going to have an announcement on the Iranian war this evening. I'll looking get some excerpts out of that, and I guess market is kind of liking it. But we had a pretty good trading day, I had to say. We started running this higher, and we came all the way up here to the 65, 6650s on the ES before I was talking about in the last update, 130. I'm thinking of getting into that 2 o'clock hour, so you're going to talking about the potential reversal. But it happened right at that 130 time frame. Right after I started talking, it started drifting lower, drifting lower, drifting lower, and then it just whole thing started leaning in on itself. But all the way down here to support at the 6600s before they reversed it. I was thinking about a short trade on the way down here, but I was kind of chasing. I was just watching it, and I just couldn't find a spot. Up here, I was hesitated on that pullback. I was holding on, see if they're going to run it up to the mode or the me or the tablet here, but didn't happen. So there was just one little pop to the upside, and it took the next leg lower. However, I took one trade here late in the session, but I was waiting for that midpoint to come out. So you had the mode and the midpoint, and I just and when they start taking that out, they pulled back a little bit. I got short, and they got a nice 5 point trade, 5 6 point trade out of that, and so I'm up $6 now on these three contracts. Remember, I had this loser right from the get go, then I had a scratch on the way down, and that was it. So right now, I made my $25 back on the ES. So I'm net up for the day on these two. Nasdaq, same story there. The first trade I took was a loser. I was after I failed on my long trade or my short failure trade on the ES. I figured I was going to try a long trade on the Nasdaq, and that didn't work either. They shook me out before they took it higher, and that just tells you that's like now this was more than 80 ticks. It was like come on. But that's Nasdaq for you. They run it down like that, and you kind of have to just leave your stop where it's at because if it's going to go, it's going to go. Sometimes you just get knocked out like this. And the time you to make it bigger and make it that's the time to run it lower and really knock you out anyway. So protect your money instead of trying to make it big. I mean, you could try to make it big if you want to take a little bit more risk, but it just gets a lot more painful if they knock it down. So, but there's a couple of trades there. I made a little bit back on a couple of trades there. Then I had a small trade here. Then I waited, and I pretty much got back here and it's kind of left it at that. So didn't trade the Nasdaq. I took just one trade on the ES, but 5 round turns on the Nasdaq up 17, three on the ES up 6. I would say we start from the long side going into the overnight. We're still leaning towards the long side. It looks like the market has not failed on us just yet. I'm going to give it a little bit of room here, so we'll see if they can hold it, trade up and hold about that 68 to 20, 25s here. That resistance there, we'll be in good shape. Right now, they're right at that level. But remember, we had this whole area, these three levels, the 65.30s, the 65.70s, and the 66.30s. These three, support on the way down, resistance on the way up, right? So this is the last resistance level. And if they can get past that, we'll be in good shape. But note that the whole move to the downside started right here. So we could just be up here retesting the high of this move and find ourselves being right in the toilet again tomorrow morning. So we will see. We will see. So a potential reverse retest in the bigger picture on the ES. In the bigger picture on the Nasdaq, you can see that the same story there. This move to the downside happened right up here in this area, this 24,360 to 380s. Right up, they've been up here testing it, and so far they haven't taken it out. But if they take it out, we may have a good shot at a little bit of strength developing. If not, this could just be a nice retest failure, getting your hopes up before they run this lower again. So we'll see. Those are the two options. It's too early to say if the retest is holding or not. Right now, they haven't taken it out, so right now it's holding. But they could be a burst of activity going into tomorrow's trading to take this higher. Now, as I said, earlier on, Friday, the market is open until just after the employment situation comes out. So that's the deal on Friday. Then it's going to be closed. So I'm not going to open the room just for that. It's going to be, I'm probably not going to trade that number. It's going to be a reaction, and then I'm just going to leave it at that. On the bond market, nice moves on the bond market actually. They so well, before I get there, starting from the long side going into the overnight, watching these support areas. If they start taking out that 6600 and the 6595s, I'm going to start thinking short side of the market pretty aggressively. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. On the Nasdaq, if they start taking out that 24,120 and the low here at the 24,040s, these two support areas, and adjust those for tomorrow. We need to start taking out those lower support areas. I'm going to shift my bias to the short side pretty aggressively. At that point, I'm going to assume that, okay, the retest did not work. And we may be seeing some weakness going into the Easter holiday. Now, looking at the bonds, since I start talking about that one, that nice retest fader up here, I should have taken it. I hesitated early on, and I didn't want to be too cute about it, so I never did anything with it. You have been twisting in the wind for a while there. If you got in short on the first rotation up here, you've been twisting in the wind for a good 25-30 minutes. And the last retest, an unfinished auction at the 14, that they ticked up at the 1401. If you try to get short at 1401, you're probably going to be sitting there still. But the 14 evens would have killed you. A nice move down to the mean. So far on the bonds, I would say that we are range bound going into the overnight. Watch that lower area, the 1316s. If they start trading below that one, I'm going to be on the short side looking for move to the downside. If they can hold this one, I would just start off range bound going into the overnight. And then finally, back on my Coinbase charts, dialing them in a little bit. So we can see here how they move. These are right now volume charts, volume 200 on silver and on oil. The volume 200 candlesticks, not the open, high, low, close part of it. Well, the equity bars don't look very good on this. It's just not enough volume on these for it to look well. So I'm just going to stick with these until the volume starts filling out. I built in the volume in terms of using a volume bar instead of an equity bar. Same thing. This is the Bitcoin and this is the Ethereum futures, and you can see how they move. They are back and by swinging wildly. They're doing, and on light volume. So it could be nice moves there. And if you look at the depth of market screens, you'll see a little bit better action there. How the book moves. It is an interesting. It is very interesting. Now you notice one thing though. You see I have a separate little window, Bluewater window here, and you see that little button on the side there is pointing to Coinbase, and this window on this side. So that's the Coinbase window, and it has its own symbol manager, its own data set all together. So it's a complete separate instance of Bluewater running under the same umbrella. I have my live trading account with the CME with AMP futures on one set of charts. That's hanging under a separate one connected to CKG. And then I'm trading, and it has its own symbol manager. And I have a separate Bluewater app for a Coinbase, also both running under the same umbrella, if you wish. So that's how it's set up. All right. Anyway, back to the ES, and I'm going to give it until the end of the weekend. I try to get it released here over the Easter holiday, and see if I can make it available early next week. All right, that's the plan. Let's see if we can make it happen. All right, back to the ES and the Nasdaq, and so far, kind of in a holding pattern. Let's see if we can get some strength going into the close. That would be pretty interesting. So, all right, guys, we'll wrap it there. So, few trades on the ES up $6, few trades on the Nasdaq up 17. I left it at that. Didn't know, made my money back. I started off in a hole on both of them, and then I had to kind of make it work. So, just made the money back, and then I kind of stopped. So. Alrighty, guys, we'll wrap it there. I'll see you back bright and early in the morning. Last trading day before Easter, so I'll see you guys back then. Alrighty, guys, later.